Welcome everyone to Life Hack. I'd love to introduce some people that have made an impact in my life, and each one has a very important piece to share with you and to give you a trajectory of transformation. So Yvette, I'm going to start with you. It's so good to see you. Yvette, tell us about some the overcoming that you have accomplished, where you started and why you're going where you're going.
Thank you, Susan. One of the things that I'm actually working on overcoming right now is my perspective about failure. I have history of severe depression, and one of the things that used to keep me in that cycle that I'm breaking now is that when I would try to change a habit or heal in some way, I would go with it 100%, and then I would trip and fall. And because I tripped and fell, now I'm thinking in my head, I'm a failure. That belief was so deep and heavy that it made me quit. And then I would fall into a depressive state. And then weeks later, months later, I would get out and try again. So it was a very vicious cycle of staying in this depressive state. And one of the things that I am shifting is my perspective about failure, that my belief is now being shifted to failure is a good thing. Failure is an amazing thing. Failure is part of success. And if I'm looking at all of these wonderful people who have reached fulfillment in their lives, and if I'm trying to replicate their lives, one of the things that they talk over and over is about the expected failure. And if you're not failing, you're not growing fast enough. So that is one of the things that is helping me overcome what I'm going through, and it's making me stronger day by day. And I'm loving failure, and I encourage everyone to work on that if that's something that they're struggling with too. So yeah.
Great. Beautiful. Thank you, Yvette. Hello, Sarah. Good to see you.
Hi, Susan.
Hi.
Good to be with you.
So I would love to hear, we would all like to hear how self-care is making a difference in your life, your family's life, and what tips you can share with people.
Perfect. Yes. So I've recently started making self-care a priority in my life. I think that all of us get busy with life, and we start to give of ourselves to our jobs and our family and our children. And we kind of lose ourselves in the process at times. And really, like, if we want to show up as the best version of ourselves, we first of all get to believe that we are worthy of self-care, and we get to lose the guilt behind it. I think a lot of times moms especially, they really give of themselves to their children, and that's been true for me in my life. After I had kids, I just really made them my priority, and they were the purpose of my life, but I kind of lost myself in the process. And so I started to, first of all, calendar time for myself and commit to following through with that time. And whether that means I get to arrange babysitters, or sometimes, self-care can involve your kids or other people too. But the trick is that I've found for me is just making it a priority and following through with that, and knowing that it's okay to care for yourself, and really recognizing that I'm worthy of it, and that if I want to show up as the best version of myself for those around me and for my kids and my job, I get to care for myself so that I can be my best version.
Hey, Vanessa, it's good to see you.
Hey, Susan, nice to be here.
Yeah, thank you for joining us. What can you tell us about nutrition and in our transformation to be the best version of ourselves? What can you
Absolutely. Share? So nutrition is everything. nutrition is about 80% of what we really should be focusing on, and then exercise should be about 20%. And what a lot of people don't realize is that food is medicine. And it's not just medicine, but it's part of like our vitality. It's what gives us strength and the energy that we need. And there's a lot of different ways that you can stay healthy, and eating the right foods makes all of the difference. And I love to encourage eating whole foods and avoiding processed foods, processed sugars, because those actually cause side effects that we don't really see, but we do feel it, And there's ways to make that affordable. I always say if you can buy fresh produce, great. If affordability is a concern, go frozen. And then the last option is to buy them canned. And I avoid canned foods as much as possible because there's a lot of sodium and different preservatives in those types of food, or in that type of food. But another thing too is making sure that you stay active. Exercise is super important to stay agile, to stay mobile, to stay flexible. Those are all of the things that we kind of tend to lose as we age. So if you stay mobile, then it just helps you to be able to stay independent even that much longer as you get older.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. That is so important. Beautiful. Hello, Dora.
Hi, Susan.
Hey. I see you and I think, wow, you have some great wisdom in stillness. And I would love for you to share with everyone your experience to enhance all of us. So can you tell us a little bit about stillness and how that affects each of us?
All right. So, in the world that we live in today, most people are looking outside of themselves for happiness, for peace. And there's this technique that you can do. It's very simple, that will help you become more still inwardly, and then be able to respond to your world, respond to energies that you experience, emotions that you experience, events that you experience in a balanced way. So what I want to share is, if you sit down and close your eyes and focus on your breathing, as you inhale from your abdomen. So when you inhale, your navel will expand as you fill your lungs completely with air. And as you exhale, allow your navel to contract toward your spine. Just focusing on your breath. Inhale through your nose, fill your lungs completely. And when you're ready, just exhale naturally through your mouth or nose, however you feel comfortable, squeezing out all of the air. And just spend some time focusing only on your breath. And as you do this, you'll notice that your mind becomes more still and your awareness increases, similar to a lake where when the water is still, it reflects everything around it. When your mind is still, your perception increases. You become more aware of yourself, the world around you. You can do more, be more, and have more as a result. But just spend at least 5 or 10 minutes focusing on your breath, and that'll help you step through the transformation that you seek.
Wow. How wonderful that something that simple is that powerful. Thank you for sharing.
You're
Thank
welcome.
You. Aloha, Patricia.
Hello, Susan.
Hello. You know what? You have practiced beautiful traditional Chinese medicine.
Yes.
You have been sharing that with us, and what a treat. And so please tell us some health hacks that would enhance all of us.
Well, one of the things that I share with my clients, and one of the things that helped me after I was given only 3 to 6 months to live, was this massive nugget of information. Well, it's actually a tiny nugget of information that has a massive impact. And so if you think of every time you have a thought, you produce a chemical in your body, and that chemical seeks out a particular cell and a particular receptor site on your cell. Once it finds that, it deposits information into your cell, and that information informs your cell how to operate and eventually how to replicate. And so the type of information that's deposited in your cell is dependent on the type of thought that you have. So if you're having angry thoughts or sad thoughts or defeating thoughts, that's the kind of information that's going to be deposited into your cell, and it's going to degrade the cell's operations. And so if you imagine how many thoughts you have a day, like 70,000 to 90,000 thoughts a day, that's a lot of chemical information that's being deposited into your cells. And then if you think that the subconscious mind is wired for about 70% negative thinking, it becomes quite clear why so many of us get sick. So what do we do about it? Things like what Dora talked about is becoming stilled so that you have more command over your thoughts. You have more awareness over your thoughts, and you have more command over what types of thoughts you're producing. You have more command over your subconscious mind. You have more access to your subconscious mind, and therefore the programming of the subconscious mind. And so we do a lot of that by meditation and hypnosis and affirmations and all of that in order to reprogram the neural pathways into different types of thinking. So you produce different types of chemicals. So you deliver different types of information to your cells, and your cells behave in a different manner.
Wow. That is life altering.
Yeah, it was for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. What hope you bring for all of us with that.
We contain that hope. That's the best part.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank
My
you.
pleasure.
Hello, Heidi.
Hi, Susan.
Hi. Woo.
Hey.
Come on.
We're having a party already.
Yeah, you're doing so much fun. I'm like, that's party. So tell me something. Tell us all something. What is the secret to your youthfulness?
Yeah, so that's a great question. Thank you for asking me. And I'm actually a committed conscious parent and a conscious parenting coach. And something that I always talk to people about in all walks of life, doesn't matter if you have children or not, is to always keep playing and to keep a lightness in your body, in your mind, and in your activities. Some of the things that I did with my kids when they were growing up is I never stopped playing with them. I was never the mom that was sitting on the bleachers or sitting on the bench and watching the kids play. I was chasing them. I'm running after them. We have a game. We played Mommy Monster. It was super fun. But you can, create all kinds of fun, exciting adventures with your children. And then, I would take my kids to somewhere in nature. And if they were going to get in the water, I got in the water. So you mimic the childlike behavior as well. Like not in a weird way, but if the kid goes under the fence, I would go under the fence with them. And I'm like, oh, this is what it's like to keep that energy, right? That youthful energy and that childlike energy. And if you don't have children, that's not a big deal. Find something that excites you and that invigorates you, and find your inner glow, and then do more of that. And if you don't know what that is, try out different things and see what comes up in your life. Another thing you can do is get your feet out on the earth in the morning light, and then get your eyes on the morning sunlight. Wait, I'm not telling you to look at the sun, stare at the sun. Just let sunlight come into your eyes, because it sets up your internal clocks for the day, and it sets up all your hormones. So I would ask you, what's the very first light that comes into your eyes during the day? Is it a cell phone? Is it a computer? Is it an iPad? Or is it the sun? Because the sun has information, and that information, not only is it information intuitive, but it's also information that sets up the cascade of hormones to create cortisol. And then finally, in the evening, the sunset, to help create melatonin. So there's my little youthful life hack for you.
Wow, I love it. I feel younger already.
Yeah, you look younger.
Thank you. That was an awesome share. Thank you so much, Heidi. Thank
Absolutely.
you. Hello, Anton.
Hello.
How are you doing?
I am doing great.
Yeah. So what do we have to look forward to as the years pass? What kind of information would you want everyone to know to carry with them into the future?
Well, as the years passed, there's been a lot of years that have passed for me. So I can tell you that when you get older, there are a few things you look back at and you wonder, what could I have done better? And the two answers that usually come up is, I should have saved more money. As shoot, I should have saved for retirement. I wasn't planning for 2008. Nobody is. So what I would do is save more money, and one of my missions is to help people do what the 1% or do what the 99% don't do, and do what the 1% do. And it would be to protect your money from stock market decline, create a family bank where you can borrow from anytime for a house, a new car, whatever, and get double-digit returns and retire tax-free, because that's huge. If you were retiring, you don't want to pay money when you're retiring. That's when you need it the most. And as I said, health is wealth. And the other thing is if you got money, you want to be able to live. And one of the things I've done is done a lot of research because I take care of my mother. And the book that started it for me is Longevity, Why You Age and Why You Don't Have to, by Dr. David Sinclair. And basically what our body is built to survive. And we don't ever put it into that stress to survive. We eat too much, we don't exercise, so we never click any of these gene triggers on for survival. So the first thing I would do, is do intermittent fasting, and that would be don't eat 2 hours before you go to bed, and my first meal is at 12 o'clock. And the reason I don't eat 2 hours before I go to bed is because insulin prohibits melatonin release, and melatonin does a lot more than just make you go to sleep. It actually cues your cerebral fluid to go through your brain to clean up amyloid plaque and what they call tau tangles, which are just misfolded tangles. So it really helps in preventing dementia and things like that. And that dementia and things starts, way, 20 or 30 years before. So by not getting enough sleep, you're preventing that healing process. And the other thing is exercise. We don't exercise enough. We eat too much and don't exercise enough. So exercise is a flight or fight response. So when you exercise, you're actually cueing your body up and creating all sorts of things, which I don't have time to go into now, which make your body click on genes and things for survival.
Oh, I love it. I love it. It's fascinating. Thank you for sharing wisdom. Thank you for sharing hope that we can be here quite a while and do it healthy and
yes,
wealthy.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anton. So you've had an opportunity along with me to hear from people who truly care about others, who took the time to study, grow, work on themselves, which is some of the hardest work you'll ever do, and bless us with that information so that we get to have the best life now, the best life continuously. We get to continuously transform. We get to continuously grow. We get to continuously be the best version of ourselves over and over and more. So I invite all of you to be lifelong learners in transformation every day of your life. Thank you. Thank you for joining us.